This is not only the story of stones, it's representing something significant. And I think if we cannot convince the Muslims right now, because they are in total denial, they don't want to hear the truth. And then I tell you what we need to do. We need to explain to the Hindus, to the Buddhists, to the Christians, to the rest of the world, so they can understand. If the Muslims are allowed to do whatever they want,
they'll be canceled.
Everyone will be next. The foundations here I see, and as we're going to see later, is the Jewish foundation.
Right. And again, it's even more absurd because for 19 years, between 1948 and 1967, the Jordanians had the city of Jerusalem, the old city of Jerusalem. It was in their hands. If their goal was really to establish a Palestinian state with a capital in Jerusalem, why haven't they done that in all these 19 years? It only reveals that it's not really what they want. It's the whole Palestinian narrative. It's a story they're telling in order to destroy the state of Israel. That's the whole thing. When they're saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Free from what? Free from Jews. This is what they actually mean. They don't want us here. The whole mindset of people in the West who are thinking in a very Western way that, you know, when you have a conflict with somebody, okay, so you sit, you negotiate, you compromise, you get half, and move on, right? Two states living side by side in peace and harmony. This is what Obama used to say all the time, right? They don't want that. They don't want two states living side by side. They want a state instead of Israel. And the fact that they haven't taken Jerusalem when they had it in their hands only proves that they don't really care for that.
If you go to the old city right now, where we are, if you go to the Arab market, we could buy cups, shirts, flags that have the map of the state of Israel, but it says the word Palestine on it. There's a replacement effort. There's an effort to erase the Jewish story here.
Well, Palestine as a concept meant to replace Israel. And the same way that Islam meant to replace Judaism. It's identity and property theft. There is no way around it. And the world, sooner or later, should understand this dynamic.
This arch is part of the bridge. That's the first layer of the massive bridge that was built 2,000 years ago by King Herod, connecting the city with the temple. Okay, the temple is right there. The city is above on the hill here. That's the first arch, and here you can see the second arch of the bridge, one on top of the other. That's what we've seen before. And we are going down now to the valley. And if you were walking here 2,000 years ago, it was all open. That's the ground. Okay.
This is the rock. This is the bedrock.
That's the bedrock. That's the bedrock of the valley. You can also see here stairs. Now this staircase, that's part of a ritual bath that the Jews used to go through before entering Temple Mount to purify themselves. So this is what we found here. And you know, I remember when I was here as a young tour guide about 17 years ago, I remember when they dug this specific room, it was covered with dirt all the way. They had to, you know, one bucket after the other, taking all the rubble here, and this is what we found here. But we found even more magnificent. What we are seeing here is a beautiful, beautiful structure also from the days of the Second Temple. You can see some pieces of it. It was destroyed, of course, but you can see this magnificent art that was made here that decorated this building. You can see these pillars here, they were destroyed, but this beautiful, beautiful building was probably the Supreme Court of the times of the Second Temple. Because the Supreme Court, what we call the Sanhedrin, used to be in the Temple Mount. But the Mishnah tells us that 40 years before the destruction of the temple, they moved the Supreme Court from the Temple Mount to the main street of Jerusalem, to where the shops used to be. We will actually see the main street of Jerusalem, the shops from 2,000 years ago.
You know, they used to tell us in the mosque regarding the process to discover the old city. They used to say that the Jews have been using aged stone from outside to place it below the Al-Aqsa Mosque to fake the city and fake their identity.
Wow, that's such a developed lie system. They're saying we're liars, we're importing old stones.
Or aging them, like somehow using science to make the stones appear old, to just fool tourists and prove an identity that never existed.
You know what's very interesting? Why they haven't found any coin or rocks that proves any Palestinian history here? If it's so easy to use science to manipulate people, why they haven't managed to find even a single coin that proves any Palestinian history here?
No, they're not concerned of truth. They're not concerned of history. They don't read. The only thing they read is the Quran.
Right.
This is the word of God, and anything outside is untrue. I ask, why don't they come actually in tours here, bring their children, which they are allowed, if they come respectfully, to come and study and see all the evidence, so they, or just in principle, accept the Jewish right to exist, the Jewish right to worship. Look at Mecca. Not only the Jews, but the non-Muslims are not allowed to enter the city of Mecca. When you drive to the city of Mecca, there are two roads. One sign says Muslims, the other highway says non-Muslims. If you get caught in the city of Mecca as a non-Muslim, there are consequences. You get punished, basically, possibly arrested. So this is the reality of the Muslims, the most racist people on earth, but they play the victim card and they use the Islamophobia to just get away. They want to cancel everybody else, and that's the approach. So in this holy place, even though it's made of stones, but it tells the entire story. There are 2 billion people out there who actually believe in such myth. The whole Islamic structure above, the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque, is based on 7th century myth, no less, no more.
Jerusalem is not mentioned in the Quran, not even once. Not even once. All the Quran, they're saying that Jerusalem is so significant to them. How can it be? It's not even mentioned in the Quran. Only in the Hadith you'll see Jerusalem.
Nor Palestine.
Of course, of course.
You will not find Palestine in any Islamic sources, not an Islamic name.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that we're talking a lot about the challenges of Islam throughout the ages, the erasure of Jewish identity, of other people's identity in general. But like, to be in this room right now with the two of you, to really feel history, 2,000-year-old history, you can hear the voices of the street, of the Sanhedrin, the Supreme Court of Israel, having their discussions here. With all of the challenges that Israel has, like, it's an amazing feeling to be here. Victory, historical victory, is ours. You know, even though we're fighting all the time, there's oppression and there's hate, and Israel's facing a lot of hate today. Like right now, being here underneath this reborn Jerusalem, it's an amazing sense of victory and actually peace. I actually feel peaceful here. Do you feel that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I agree with you, because otherwise I wouldn't be comfortable to come on such a tour in the face of hundreds of millions of people who label me all type of negative labels. If it wasn't for the concrete reality, this is the source. You cannot cancel this.
Right. You could try.
And all the attempts, I don't want to try.
No, the bad guys, they want to try.
If I want to try to cancel myself, I would cancel that. So we are talking about really false identity built on all this, and hundreds of millions, billions of people around the world are not accepting the simple truth. This is the holiest Jewish site. You know, the Muslims have multiple holy sites, and nobody's questioning them. Nobody's going to Mecca and say, I want to build my temple on the top of Al-Kaaba, you know. And the fact that they have such structure and they outrage. The same thing now in Europe, they're building thousands of mosques. Try to shut down a mosque or challenge an imam preaching hatred, then they would outrage. So they have been ruling by intimidation. And there is also another side of the coin, which is temptation, the financial jihad, the Arab oil money, silence. Then I tell you what we need to do. We need to explain to the Hindus, to the Buddhists, to the Christians, to the rest of the world, so they can understand.
Let's do a psalm together. You know, we're talking about ancient stuff. King David wrote Psalms. This is Psalm 122. And it says like this: Shir HaMa'alot LeDavid, a song of ascents for David, for King David. Samachti ve'omrim li Beit Adonai nelech. I was happy when they told me we're going to the house of God. That's what we're doing today. Omdot hayu ragleinu v'sha'arayich Yerushalayim. Our legs were standing at your gates, O Jerusalem. Yerushalayim habnuya ke'ir shechubra la yachdav. Jerusalem that is built as a city that is united together, or unites people together. Shesham alu shevatim shiftei yah edut leIsrael. There the tribes went up to pilgrimage, the tribes of God, a testimony to Israel, lehodot l'shem Adonai, to thank the name of God. Kishama yashvu kisaot mishpat, for there they sat in the chairs of justice, kisaot lebeit David, the chairs of the house of David. And that's what Ohad showed us, the Sanhedrin, which pronounced judgment. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim. Ask or pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Yishlayu ohavayach. There'll be a connection of your lovers to the peace of Jerusalem. Yehi shalom bechelech. There should be peace within your castles. Shalva ba'armonotayach. A calmness within your dwelling places. Lema'an achai v'rai. For the sake of my brothers and fellows. Edabra na shalom bach. I will speak peace about you, or one can also read it within you. Right? Within you, that's what we are right now. Lema'an Beit Adonai Eloheinu. For the sake of the house of God, our Lord, Evaksha tov lach, I will ask goodness for you. Okay, so King David wrote that 3,000 years ago as his son was about to embark on the building of the first temple.
And there is, by the way, a story regarding David and his son Solomon. Mm-hmm. That one of them qualified to build the temple, the other did not qualify to build the temple regarding the Bible. Do you mind sharing the story with me?
Yes, of course. Beautiful. King David was the first king to unite all the Jews together and to bring the capital to Jerusalem. And he really wanted to build a temple. But God told him, no, you will not build a temple. Why? Because you spilt lots of blood. You've united the people. You've conquered the land. You had to kill all your enemies. You spilt lots of blood. So you will not build a temple, because the temple should be, as we've said before, a place of peace, a house of prayers for all nations. So only your son, Solomon, he will be the one to build the temple.
Wow, this is how holy the temple is in the Jewish tradition. Mm-hmm. It's not that David was a bloodthirsty king.
Right.
Just the outcome of the war
that
was against the Jewish people. And the fact that God did not qualify him because he was a warrior more than, let's say, a prophet. So it's a very, very interesting story that in the Bible there is nothing hidden.
Right.
Everything is clear and transparent.
And these are the foundations of Jewish religion, of Jewish heritage. Okay, we are a religion of peace. So much so that the main king, the number one leader of the Jewish people, was forbidden from building the temple, not because he was bloodthirst, because he protected his people. He was a warrior. So he couldn't build the temple.
I mean, there is no war without bloodshed.
Yeah.
And what we are dealing with Gaza right now, Israel, for example, did not start this war, did not want this war at all. Israel left Gaza and gave the Gazans the opportunity to build, to prosper. But instead, they